Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time together today. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite apparition stories, Our Lady of Guadalupe. But before we do that, let's take a few deep breaths together, just get ourselves grounded and centered and really ready to receive this miraculous message from Mother Mary. So just allowing yourself to focus on your breath. If you're driving, please keep your eyes open. But if you are at home or someplace where you can close your eyes, please do that. And just allowing yourself to feel that presence descending upon you, supporting you, loving you, helping your mind to relax, helping your heart to open so that you can receive this beautiful message from Our Lady of Guadalupe. And knowing that whatever it is that you need to hear today will be exactly what you hear, let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend. Well, welcome once again to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. And I'm recording this episode in the month of December. It is the month of Our Lady of Guadalupe's apparition. So way back in 1531, Mother Mary appeared in December, and I believe it was December 9th that she first appeared to a man named Juan Diego. He was probably about in his 50s or so. He wasn't a young man, and he was recently converted to Catholicism. So you have to see the context of this time period was in the Spanish imperial colonialism, all of that was happening. And so the native people of Mexico were really, there was a genocide. If I'm perfectly honest with you, there's one of the most horrific genocides in history happening. And Mother Mary appeared at that time. And she appeared not as a European woman, but she appeared looking like a native Mexican woman. And she actually, it's one of the only appearances where she is pregnant. And we know that based on the clothing that she's wearing. And so I'm going to share this miraculous story with you, but I'm going to share it with you light worker to light worker, because I really, really feel like this message that Mother Mary gave to Juan Diego is a message that she's giving to all of us. And so she often works through people. She works through Saint Bernadette. She works through so many great beings. And Saint Juan Diego is another one who himself did not feel so great and was sure that perhaps Mother Mary had made a mistake. But her message to him is her message to all of us who are here wanting to uplift the planet, all of us who are wanting to alleviate suffering, all of us who are wanting to bring more light and love to the planet. And yet we get bogged down in our day-to-day lives. We get bogged down in our family commitments. We get bogged down in our own doubt and our own worry, and it prevents us from moving forward. And this is what she has to say. So this story begins where Juan Diego is walking along and he sees a woman up on the hill, and he goes to talk with this woman, and she says to him that she wants him to go to the bishop and ask that a beautiful church be built in this site in her honor. And he immediately is filled with doubt and fear of like, you want me to do what? But he goes to the bishop, he knocks on the door and says that this beautiful lady asked for this to happen. Of course, everybody laughed at him, and he left feeling very dejected and very much like, oh, I'm the wrong person for this job. Like, you have picked the wrong person for this job. And so this is what Mother Mary says to him. I'm going to read this to you. So sweet. Now, you remember, he's a man in his 50s, and yet she's calling him my youngest and dearest child. She says, listen to me, my youngest and dearest child. Know for sure that I do not lack servants and messengers to whom I can give the task of carrying out my words, and who will carry out my will. But it is very necessary that you plead my cause, and with your help, through your mediation, that my will be fulfilled. My youngest and dearest child, I urge and firmly order you to go to the bishop again tomorrow. Tell him in my name and make him fully understand my intention, that he start work on the chapel I'm requesting. Tell him again that I am the ever Virgin Holy Mary, Mother of God, who is sending you. So that's what she says to Juan Diego, and that is what she's saying to you. This is the part of the story. We know that this next message I'm also going to share with you. It makes me cry every time I read it because it's so touching. But this part of the story we tend to overlook. And this is the part that's the message for the light workers. Yes, she can go to anybody, but she wants to work through you. Yes, there are plenty of people that she could be asking, but she's asking you. Now, how do you know that she's asked you? First of all, if you're listening to this podcast, then that means that she's asked you something. But whatever it is, are you trained in something? Are you trained as a Reiki practitioner or a healer? Have you taken healing courses and not really done a whole lot with them? Do you have a book inside of you? Do you have a song inside of you? Do you have a deep longing desire inside of you? Something that you want to bring forth in the world that you know if you did would really make your corner of the world a better place. And there's something, I don't know what it is, but that seed's been planted in there by the Divine Mother because she knows that through you, she can magnify that miracle and that miracle will ripple out. And so she had picked Juan Diego for this purpose, and he didn't think he was ready. He didn't think he was worthy. He didn't think much of himself. And he goes again, and the same thing happens the next day. So on the third day, his uncle is sick, and he's looking for a priest to do last rites for his uncle. His uncle's on his deathbed. And he specifically tries to avoid Mother Mary. He goes around the other side of the hill. Now, how many of us have done that where, we don't keep our appointment with the divine? We think we somehow on our own can avoid this powerful divine energy. We go around the other side of the hill. And of course, Mother Mary meets him on the other side of the hill and is like, hey, I asked you to go and fulfill this. Like, what is going on? And Juan Diego says, my uncle's dying and the bishop isn't really open to me. And I just think you have the wrong person. So she asks him, she says, come back tomorrow and I'm going to give you a beautiful sign. But before she says that, she gives him this message. And I love this message. Listen, put it into your heart, my youngest and dearest child, that the thing that disturbs you, the thing that afflicts you, is nothing. Do not let your countenance and your heart be disturbed. Do not fear this sickness of your loved ones or any other sickness, nor anything that is sharp or that is hurtful. Am I not here, I who am your mother? Are you not under my shadow and protection? Am I not the source of your joy? Are you not in the hollow of my mantle, in the crossing of my arms? Do you need anything more? Let nothing else worry you or disturb you. Do not let your loved one's illness worry you, because they will not die now. You may be certain that they are already well. And the truth of the matter is that Mother Mary healed the uncle right there at that moment. He was well. And right now at this time, I'm recording this in December of 2020. There's a lot of fear of illness for ourselves and for other people. And Mother Mary is saying to us, let nothing disturb you. Am I not here? What else do you need? So she builds up Juan Diego and she gives him that and heals his uncle so that his worldly concerns don't keep him from moving forward on his divine assignment. And she says, come back tomorrow and I'm going to give you a sign. So he does go back and he meets her up on the hill, and it's December. And then there's these beautiful Castilian roses, which don't even grow in Mexico, or at least they didn't used to grow in Mexico. And they definitely didn't bloom in December. And she asked him for his tilma. And the tilma is just a very rough, kind of a sack-like cloth that he would be wearing kind of like as a cape or a jacket type of a thing. And she took those beautiful roses and put them in his tilma and arranged them herself. She had him scoop it up and said, bring these to the bishop, and this will be the sign that he needs. So Juan Diego says, all right. And he goes thinking, well, these are roses in December. This should be the thing that really helps. And he somehow gets in to see the bishop again and says, I have a sign from the lady. And he opens his tilma and all the beautiful roses come spilling out onto the floor. And he thinks that's the miracle until he hears everybody gasp. Because what he didn't know is that Mother Mary used those roses and created a beautiful work of art, an image of herself that we now know as Our Lady of Guadalupe on the tilma. And everybody gasped. And you can see that image. You can see that image. I'm going to put in the show notes a link to the image so that you can see Our Lady of Guadalupe. That image has been analyzed over the years, hundreds of years. First of all, it's on a material that would have deteriorated in about 20 years. And it's been almost 500 years that this is still there. The building has burned, things have happened, it is still intact. They've put it under a microscope to see what the heck is it? What is it? Because that image is actually alive. It's not just a painting, it's a live image. And one of the coolest things, if you zoom in on the eye of Our Lady of Guadalupe, you will see in her eye the reflection of Juan Diego. I'll put a link as well in the show notes so that you can see a picture of this miraculous living image. It's the only image that we know of that's painted by Mother Mary. It's the only work of art that is a divine work of art that we know of. And she painted it herself, of herself, and it has amazing properties to it. Now, I always say Our Lady of Guadalupe is the patroness of creative people. A lot of times when she shows up when I'm doing a session with somebody, she's encouraging you to own your creativity, but she's also encouraging you to own your mission as a messenger, as a light worker, as somebody who is here to bring light onto the planet. So if you find yourself like Juan Diego, filled with doubt, filled with family responsibilities, filled with worldly responsibilities that you don't know how you're going to fulfill, and yet you feel this pull of something wanting to come through you, call on Mother Mary as Our Lady of Guadalupe. Ask her to help you with your worldly obligations, your family obligations. If you're worried about health or you're worried about the health of your loved ones, call on Our Lady of Guadalupe. But most importantly, take her words to heart when she says, it is very necessary that you plead my cause, and with your help, through your mediation, that my will be fulfilled. She's calling on you, my friends, and this is a modern message. Even though it's from 500 years ago, she's asking you, please say yes to the thing that she's asking you to bring more light onto the planet. I love this story. I'd love to hear about your thoughts about this story. Do you have any connection with Our Lady of Guadalupe? She's one of the most revered forms of Mother Mary throughout the world. People in Mexico obviously love her, but she is also loved throughout the world and brings us such a timely message for the times that we're in. Am I not here, who am your mother? Are you not always in the hollow of my mantle, the crossing of my arms? What else do you need? What else do you need, my friends? Indeed. All right. Well, remember that the key to magnifying your miracles is remember that your miracle is already here. God bless you, my friend. Bye-bye.